Hey guys, Beth here. Did a video earlier today out by the pool. I want to do a specific video tonight because it's on my mind, and usually when something's on my mind, I kind of like to dissipate that. Two things on my mind. Somebody asked me recently if Mona Vulgaris got out of prison for what happened years ago. Jack Vulgaris and Mona Vulgaris, their child, Selena, I'll go through the whole case, but you can Google it and it'll come back on there, on Google, and it'll tell you all about the situation. But anyway, it ended up being a child deceased, not actually cause, well, maybe cause. The evidence is kind of sketchy, but anyway, I will be getting into that case. 1740 Phillips is the address where that happened, and it was on America's Most Wanted. And the reason I'm connecting these two stories is because of Jimmy Sargent. Okay, Jimmy, love you, have nothing against you, buddy, but it is what it is. So Jimmy Sargent was the detective back then, and then he got hooked up with America's Most Wanted, and they caught him, the Vulgaris and Mona, and they were charged with several things. Well, that was in 1997, and I had just been a cop for like 11 months, 12 months, 13 months, and because I was the only female, Rodney McFarland, the chief, assigned me as detective. Well, I'd only been there for that little bit of time, so that really made everybody mad. So what did I do? I don't come in there with jeans and a high-state shirt. I had khakis on. I had a double shoulder holster with cuffs and an extra mag, and dress clothes and dress shoes, and and I was all about it. But they hated me for that. But the only reason that I got to do it was because Mona was a woman, and they needed somebody to deal with a woman. So anyway, me and Rodney McFarland, we drove to Lexington, and Jimmy Sargent and another officer drove there also. Jimmy to pick up Jack, and Chief and I to pick up Mona. So we get up there, and it's like Con Air. It's a unmarked plane that just pulls in. And, certain people come out. There's a bus that pulls up there, and there's a guy in the back with a shotgun, a guy in the front with a shotgun. People are shackled and around their ankles and around their waists. And they get off of the plane. They get off of the bus. The people that get off the plane get on the bus, or they go with the direct authorities. So got Mona off the bus and unshackled her and all that. And the whole ride home, and I'm sorry if this hurts anybody's feelings, but this is the truth. The whole way home, the only thing she bitched about was the soap at the jail. And we had to pull over in Kentucky there for her to pee. And she had, like I said, an orange jumpsuit on with shackles. And she asked me in the ladies' bathroom if I could help her use the bathroom. And I said, if you can bury your child, I don't think I'm going to help you use the bathroom. So it is what it is. It's all facts. It's all court documented, like I always say. But abuse of a corpse, all because you had some illegal substance growing in your house, like weed. Oh my God! So let's say your child gets accidentally hurt, and you're like, oh shit, we can't call 911, we can't call a squad, because then they'll come in the house and they'll see we're growing weed. Oh my God, what's more important, your child or getting in trouble for weed? My dear God, are you kidding me? Then what do? Oh God. Anyway, I'll be doing a whole thing on that. I know I always say that. But anyway, you can just Google that whole thing, that thing. But anyway, back to Jimmy Sargent. Jimmy was cool with me. He was always cool with me. And he would say, Beth, can you go with me for a minute? And I'd say, yeah. And he'd take me up at his house, and he said, can you pick this TV up and move it over here? And I always got a kick out of that because, I was pretty stout. Still am. And I'd pick it up, move it, and he goes, well, can you move it back over? We had a good relationship. But let me tell you something. Everybody has a different way of making people realize what the truth is, saying what the truth is, and doing what the truth is. Or, I'm telling you what, don't have anything against you personally, Jimmy Sargent. But, every dog has its day. You know what I'm saying? So, right after that, the Vulgaris thing, he got a good job being the house detective for some big corporation. Yeah, now I broke my glasses, like I said the other night, so I got these, what was her name? Sally Jesse Raphael. You young kids won't know anything about it, but you guys don't watch my channel anyway. They're just not red. Anyway, I'm going to talk about, there was a armed robbery, a burglary, which means if you go in someone's house to rob them and there's people in there, that's burglary. If you break in a building where there's not people in, that's breaking and entering. So, but anyway, in this instance, oh my gosh, in this instance, a guy had stopped by two friends' house, okay? And they were all drinking, carrying on, and doing whatever they do, And they got into a fight and everything. So anyway, I was officer on call. I got there. The guy was injured. The two guys were gone. But the neighbors seen the two guys leave. And so it goes on and on from there. But anyway, I heard over the radio Jimmy Sargent say, let Beth handle it. It'll take her all night. Let Beth handle it. It'll take her all night. Well, you're damn skippy. It took me all night because I was thorough, I did a whole grid, I had shit in the back of my cruiser that nobody else had. I was like Randy Goodall. I like Randy Goodall. He's always been good. You open his trunk, and it's like he had SWAT shit, all kind, anything you could ever need, Randy Goodall had in the back of his trunk. Pressed and creased shirts, change clothes. I mean, hell. Randy, if you're listening, I love you, buddy. The hand signals, loved all that shit too. But anyway, back to this. So, after I heard him say, let Beth handle it, so I did it. I did the grid search. I measured every single room, there was blood splatter all over the wall. So, of course, I had the kit that I had to buy personally, to take a swab out. And of course, first I went up on the wall of all the blood splatter and I wrote with a black marker A, B, C, D, E. Went through the alphabet like 7 times. A1, B2, A12, on and on and on. And take each Q-tip, put it in a test tube, and seal it. Okay? Then, whatever was left in that apartment, I measured it. The screwdriver was laying on the floor, 7 inches and a quarter from, So I did all that and did the drawing and did all the measurements of all that. Well, the guy ended up living, right? I spent 4 hours there, not because Jimmy Sargent said, let Beth do it, because I wanted it done right, in case that guy passed away. Now, that guy lived. Don't know what happened to him after that, but that's just what I'm telling you. Let's let her do it. Anybody gets in trouble, let her do it. Because they thought he was going to die. Nothing was ever said about that because, I did a very thorough 4-hour, inch to inch, blood splatter to blood splatter. Every single blood splatter, every single dot, every single sock, every single shoe, every single dish, every single glass. I took documentation of it. Okay? Anyway, Jimmy, honey, I'm sorry that you couldn't lift your own TV. I'm glad I could do that for you. I wonder where you're at now, buddy. But if you would just give a big shout out, like you told me in private, that, man, you're putting up with it a lot. Remember saying that to me? why don't you just quit? No. You remember saying that to me? Quit? Honey, I don't quit. And I wasn't going to quit for anybody down there. So, got so much information right here. So much information. And I'll be talking about it all. But don't you think every single case should be treated like the way I treated that case? You know, this is what I told a friend earlier tonight. If you pass away in your house, all alone, okay? And of course, maybe a neighbor suspects, or maybe the mailman. The mailman could say, well, the mail's piled up, and that was 90% of the calls, and the mail's piled up. I always found somebody deceased. But that's the main thing. But anyway, the police can decide, and the police alone, corruption, anything, the police alone can determine what everybody thinks about you for the rest of your life by simply doing these 3 things. They come in your house, they video stuff. You know, you could be laying there dead on the floor or in the bed or in the tub or anything like that. And they'll take pictures of everything, right? But they never release those pictures, right? But unless they need to release those pictures, like it would be Beth Riss, they would release those. But anyway, they can. You can have a bottle of Sprite and an aspirin next to your bed, but they could plant while you're laying there dead. Witness it. They can plant drugs or heroin, a syringe, or anything like that by your bed, and by simply their decision, okay, about your life, they can determine what everybody thinks about you from the date of your death on. Do you people understand what I'm saying? Please tell me you understand what I'm saying. Okay? I mean, God, don't do that. And I did a video early about that. Don't do that. No, don't do that. Okay, let me put my glasses on back again. It's about the exclusionary rule. What does it mean, the exclusionary rule? What does it mean? And what does it mean when they say anytime that the DNA was inconclusive? Well, what'd they say before we had DNA? What do you think about that? Before we had DNA testing, well, we don't have no evidence. DNA testing, got it. It was inconclusive. Who decides if evidence is inconclusive? The coroner? The judge? The president? I can go on and on with this. Okay, who decides if DNA is inconclusive? And all the people that work in the labs, they answer to somebody. You understand what I'm saying? They answer to somebody. So, of course, they're going to say it's inconclusive. Inconclusive means however I want you to perceive what I want you to think as an authoritarian figure. You see what I'm saying? You are being hoodwinked. That's my favorite word from Malcolm X. Hoodwinked. Bamboozled. I'm telling you what, people. I'm telling you, if you don't stand up for what you believe in and what you think and what you feel, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a serious problem. You know? I mean, my goodness. I don't know what else more I can, what else more? What else more? That could be it. I don't know what else more I could go through. Let me see. Let me put my spectacles back on here. We're talking about back in the 70s about Quaaludes, okay? I'll be talking about heroin, cocaine, fentanyl, the street names, the drugs, the Vicodin, the hydrocodone, just all kinds of medication that can be used differently. You can take a pill and drink some water. You can shoot it up. You can do all kinds of things with it, snort it, whatever. Everything you do makes a different determination in your body and your chemistry about that. I'll be talking about anabolic steroids, testosterone. I'll be talking about all kinds of stuff. I'll be talking about video and crime scenes. Oh my dear God. You know, your camera can be your worst enemy or your best friend, okay? Now, I remember when I was working, somebody had a bomb in their house and it exploded and all that. And I took a picture with my flip phone back then. Another officer said, "You can't take pictures of a crime scene." Well, why? I'm a police officer. Why can't I take pictures of a crime scene? You think I'm going to share it on topics? No, I wasn't. Anyway, so let's see. I'll be talking about more in depth about the grand jury and who's allowed on the grand jury. If you have a grand jury to hear your case, and then when you're actually in there testifying, and your fucking neighbor across the street's on the grand jury, that's a problem. Let's all hear it together for the wrist train. That's a problem. You cannot be on a grand jury or a jury if you know the person involved, whether it be the plaintiff or the defendant. And I sit there with the Mike Lutz grand jury, and my neighbor across the street testified in grand jury. He was the foreman in grand jury. See what I'm saying? Oh my God. You guys listen, I'm telling you what, this is really, really getting out of hand. I mean, it really is. And I am not going anywhere. I'm really not. Let's see. So interesting going through the journals today. Let me see what else I got here. Let me tell you something about this right here. The judges who are elected by politicians, that's a big no-no. That's like, don't bring a knife in a bar. No, that's a big no-no. And we're seeing that with the Supreme Court, the presidents. When you're president, I guess you can just say, hey, I want you to be on Supreme Court. And then it's a lifetime thing, I think we need to get rid of the people that we've been tax dollars been paying for 45 years and find new people to support. That's just my opinion. So anyway, let's see what else I got here. Can't wait to get my new glasses back. But anyway. Okay. Be talking about all the instances recently about the elevators down, and I'm not going to blame the Otis company because there's been a lot of storms, but my dear God, aren't you equipped for that? Aren't you equipped for that? Okay. We're talking about the Lawrence County Soil and Water Distribution. Lawrence County Land and Reutilization Corporation. Did those exist? Did those two things exist? Okay, well, listen, it's Beth Riss. Everybody have a good night, and I'll be back tomorrow, probably on a float. If I can get one of those little stands to do my videos, I'll do it. But I hope you took what I said in consideration tonight, because there's so much more going on here. Beth Riss, God bless. Art in Ohio.